Wake up, everybody. It's Sunday morning. Welcome. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. That'd be me. First order of business, get rid. You've all read the Chiron, said welcome, glad you could make it. All right, get rid of that noise. You know the drill. You know the drill. Drink it if you got it. And today, the cup says, of course, I talk to myself. Sometimes I need expert advice. That's good, that's good. This morning, we've got Thomas, Target Prime Rib with us. And Thomas is in the green room, and he's going to wait patiently while I welcome everybody and get us started, and then we'll bring him in, and he'll probably spend the rest of the stream with us. I hope there was no confusion about the starting time this morning. A couple of people on the West Coast had said, I thought it was 9:30. Now, I decided it's too confusing to do it one time one day, another time another day. I've got to keep it constant. So 8:30 it is, 8:30 it is. I spent some time this morning doing a little research on a very, very hot topic right now, a very emotional issue, something that's affecting all our lives. The question was, is there any way I can turn off these stupid community rankings in my chat? Thomas just and unfortunately, the best I can come up with is it somewhere in the your settings, you can turn them off on your chat, but I can't turn off those things globally. Not yet. They're testing them now. YouTube evidently wants to become more like these stupid gaming channels, and they can attract more children. Seems to me. But today, Thomas is number one with a crown. Lewis. Hi, Lewis. Lewis is number 3. As it gets busier and busier, it seems we see less and less of these stupid things. So, it's a shame I wasted some time this morning, but I was so annoyed by those things. So annoyed. Anyway, glad to see everybody. It's Sunday morning. It's finally the sun is shining here. We had nothing but rain yesterday. I was supposed to have work done outside of my house. They had to cancel. The girl who cleans for me, she was supposed to come yesterday morning. It was thunder and lightning so bad she called, and she postponed it till today. You'd think that we were having in the middle of hurricane season or something. I just saw a question, Peter. How can I ensure that I don't get ranked so I don't upset Mitch? It's funny you say that, Peter. I thought about that this morning. I said, boy, what an opportunity for me. If I ever see Peter, Papa Carnivore, with a crown and number 1 after his name, the busting will be monumental. I will not, I can tell you now, be able to control myself. And I said, that would be a great bit. That would be very, very, very funny. Well, let me get to it today. Not waste a lot of time, so I can bring Thomas in. While more people pile in. YouTube did not do away with the comments from last night, so we had the Furrow Grandma came in about 7. What time was it? It's 8:04 p.m. How you doing? I hit the notification. I hope I wake up for this one. Well, we'll see. And Lewis is here. How you doing, Lewis? Good to see you. Good to see you. And he was second. Here's somebody I haven't seen before, whose name is very similar to mine. In fact, I had to look twice at it. Old bitch carnivore. Well, hello, bitch. I'll be watching you in the morning. You are an inspiration. Obviously, I was an inspiration for your name. You have the old and the carnivore in there, and 3 letters from my first name, Mitch. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's very flattering. They say imitation is the highest form of flattery. Smoothie's here. Smoothie 420. How you doing? Good to see you last night also. Checking in last night. Cliff, Medina, Terry, Sue. I hope you wake up too, Terry. I hope you wake up too. That's the only problem. This is a little earlier for those of you out on the West Coast. The simple and easiest solution, instead of me having to adjust the time of the show, because that would be a terrible inconvenience, the simplest solution is for all of you on the West Coast to simply move to the East Coast. It would be the least you could do. No big deal. Who else we got here? Sandy Blythe checked in. Rick checked in last night. Good to see you. Harry Dion checked in. A lot of people checked in late. Lady June from England, about midnight around here. Jem, same thing with Jem. Over on the West Coast. Hope you get here. Jem's the one that says she thought it was 9:30, but it wasn't. And Thomas checked in. See you at 8:30. And indeed, you've lived up to your word. And Peter's here. Hiya, Peter. How you doing? Peter was up at 3:30 in the morning. Insomniacs unite. At 4:30 in the morning, we have Meatitudes. How are you? And happy June, everybody. June 1st. Unbelievable. I'm not sure if today is the start of hurricane season. I think it is. We just got done with that crap, but here we go again. Wayne Herman, hi, Wayne from Lake Gaston, North Carolina. Mary M. is with us, and Mike Seeley Sr. from here in Melbourne. And Thomas comes and says, what a coincidence, Papa Carnivore. I went to work at 3 a.m. And that's incredible, man. You talk about dedication. Thomas has already been to work and come home. That's something. Hope he doesn't fall asleep on us. Mike Seeley from Tampa checked in. I checked in and said hi to everybody. Rick checked in and checked in and checked in. Jerry Bell. Hello, meat people. Rick checked in again. Patty's Garden. Good morning to you. Rick checked in again. Rick got the number 1 that way. All right, Rick, I'll stop picking on you. Pearl Grandma did make it. Woke up. Good morning. Carnivore Police is here. Sneaking up on 8:30. Tammy Patarch. Aaron, how are you, sweetie? Good to see you. Good to see you. Kathy, Florida. Good morning, Mitch and all. We are at 8:26. Brian Dish checked in. And who else was new here that checked in? Laurie's Carnivore Story. Good morning. Happy Sunday. We can't go wrong when we start the day with Mitch. Here. I'll drink to that. I'll drink to... comes to coffee, I'll drink to just about anything. All right, 8:29. Jerry Voitish, how you doing? And Nikki and Rick and my friends, the winner today, Brian, Fly Fisherman Dish. Congratulations, my friend. You are the winner. Unfortunately, as usual, you've only won a little praise and admiration from the rest of us. Oh, this is funny. Lewis says, to ask Thomas a question, use # babyface. Do they call you babyface, Thomas? I'll have to ask him when he gets here. He's shaking his head no. Papa Carnivore says, hello, Mitch Fitz this morning. And Nikki W. checked in after that. And Wayne Herman says, it's about 8:30. You are right about that. Lori checked back in. Lizzie's with us. How you doing, Lizzie? Richard Williams is with us. Good to see you. And I want to say a quick hello to those people I haven't said hi to yet. And then we will turn our attention to Thomas. And maybe we'll even get a chance to talk about that coffee video I put yesterday. Wow. You'd think that I start up a hornet's nest with that thing. I haven't had that many comments on a video in a long time. The one thing I'll do before I bring Thomas in, so nobody will actually think that Thomas had any part in this crash commercialism, is I will stick my Buy Me a Coffee link for what good it does. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate that. And don't blame Thomas. It's not his fault. Kay is with us this morning. How are you? And Terry May. Between the Terrys and the Loris, all the names with the I's instead of the Y's. Whenever I use my voice typing to try to answer a comment or something, it invariably on my cell phone always puts a Y. Always puts a Y in those things. And I have to go back in there and type on a tiny little keyboard and edit it out. I could leave it a Y, but I try to be accurate. Marla Kelly's with us today. Hiya, Marla. Here's somebody's name I don't recognize. Vicky Quayle from Northern California. Well, I appreciate the effort getting up early. Patty Molden's with us. Who else is new here? Always be kind. I've seen you before. How you doing? Good morning to you. And I think right up to Thomas. Is that my okay, and we made it up to the question from Peter. We have Barbara S. with us this morning. Good morning, Mitch. You're such a cutie. And a sweet human being. Wow, Barbara. That's very, very, very nice of you. Very nice of you. And that's Peter says crap. Just by asking that question, I got ranked. Oh, that's funny. That's Peter. That's going to be an ongoing gag until they either give me a way to turn that shit off or do away with it completely. It's a stupid idea. And most of the things I came across and trying to figure out how to turn it off, well, I guess people who want to turn it off would be thinking this way, but it was pretty negative for that stuff. Most people thought it was silly, stupid. This isn't Twitch. You want to be a teenage gamer or one of those guys that never leaves the house, go to Twitch. It's a better platform for you. Okay, my friends, that will be the end of that. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. 8:30. Okay. Any last stragglers, ketone seeker, good morning to you. Good morning to you. And Mary Carl, Daytona here, Mitch. Good morning to you. Okay. I made him wait long enough, 15 minutes, before he goes away, gets tired, and says, well, I thought you invited me to be a guest. Actually, I thought that maybe Thomas might feel a little pressure to have to be on for a long time, so I let him relax a little bit first. I'm going to change me without this. So I am bigger here. And without further ado, and I wish I had a fanfare on my mixer and I could play, you know, da 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 da. How's that? Everybody, welcome Thomas Target Prime Rib. How are you, Thomas?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. It looks like the rest of the people are doing good. Do you?
Yeah, it looks like it. I'm like actually looking at the chats on StreamYard. So.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. I wonder, I think that for just the two of us, I might put us up this way. You may have to move a little towards the center, but it's a little easier. And then when I bring up a chat, like anytime Rick laughs, it'll show up down there, but it won't push us up or down and move us around all the time like the other scene does. So
and I don't know if you noticed or not, but I got one of your Mitch Fit T-shirts on.
Oh, cool! Stand up a little. Let me see it. Oh, I like that. I like that. You know, I honest to God, I need.
You knew I had to.
Yeah, that's a great shirt. I never got one of those. They always, every time I'm designing a new shirt, they send me a sample.
But you never got the
I never got the sample. I need to get in touch with them. I'll show you. We're both fabulously dressed today. I'm going to show you what I'm wearing. I'm wearing the ever popular take the rest of the day off and eat meat shirt.
Your original one, I guess.
The original one, yeah. I love that shirt. I don't wear it very often because I don't want to wear it out. Of course, I probably could buy them
because look where I'm at. You know, I mean, you know, it'd be like me not wearing like Healing Humanity on a Kerry channel. You know.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I thought that I would wear one of these shirts instead of a National Sarcastic Society or one of these. What's the other one I have that says, I don't like, nothing's better than romantic walks down the meat aisle? Or
yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, that's
funny. I got a bunch of them. One of my favorite shirts is got a big picture of Stewie on it from Family Guy.
Oh yeah.
The real big picture of him. And
Are you done talking? Like I stopped listening a long time ago.
Yes, I've stopped listening. Why are you still talking?
You gotta love Stewie.
Oh God, that's great. I used to think Family Guy was the best show on TV until I got hooked on South Park.
Oh yeah. I mean, did you ever see the episode of Family Guy where they had the Holocaust and it kind of destroyed the whole town, like the whole planet, and the only thing left over was a Twinkie factory. So they actually like all like kind of like did like citizenship to the Twinkie factory.
I'm sure I saw it. I've seen every one of them, but I don't.
Like the only thing that survived Twinkies. Because of all the chemicals and everything like that in them, but like all the animals died.
Yeah, and the roaches probably survived too. Yeah. So Thomas, I heard a lot of us have seen you on many streams. The good news is your friends just don't get tired of you. So.
I'm always worried about that, but you know, it doesn't seem.
Yeah, I try not to go on too many interviews because I'm just not. See, you don't have a channel, It's a different story. When you have a channel and you go on somebody else's live stream, the assumption is, he's promoting his channel. He doesn't give a shit. He's just here to see if he can steal some of so-and-so's subscribers to subscribe. When you don't have a channel and you're just a citizen, nobody attributes any ulterior motives.
Yeah.
To
I mean, actually, I do have a channel.
Well, but you're not monetized.
No, I'm not there yet.
No, you're not. So yeah, everybody's got a channel. You can't even be on YouTube. You have to create a quote channel.
Yeah. I mean, I only have about 300 and some subscribers.
Well, it's a good start though. I have.
Not that I'm not grateful. I'm just saying
I have three or four logins, different logins over the years that I've created channels for. I have my base channel, and it uses my original Gmail. I had it before I ever. I'm talking when they invented YouTube. It goes back that far. That's the channel I used to watch. All my Roku's are tuned to that. That's the channel that I subscribe to premium so that I don't get ads. So whenever I watch a YouTube video on my old guy channel, I get ads pop up because I'm not going to buy 2 premium memberships. But I have on my first channel 6 subscribers. my children, me, and a couple of friends. Because I don't
know everybody.
Yeah, I don't use it for anything else. I have a channel. I had a channel for my cigar company. That's still there. I had a channel for I had a marketing company called MHW Marketing when I was doing aerial photography. That channel still exists. None of them ever became anything. They all have like a handful of subscribers. But man, you're talking, if YouTube channels were money, you're looking at a rich man here.
Yeah.
The only one that went anywhere is this old guy stuff.
Yeah.
But I've always loved
sometimes you gotta like just swing at the ball like a few times. So
tell us about I don't know if you want to go into all the excruciating detail again of your history and how you found Carnivore. I know you were in pretty bad shape there for a while. Maybe you might want to just summarize it. Tell me,
I think most of the people here know pretty much my story, and I just say most because I don't know if everybody does or not. But I could do the abridged version.
Yeah, if you would, because don't forget, there's going to be probably 1,000 people that watch this,
right?
In between the live and the replay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I started off with diabetes. I found I was diabetic when I was about 30, and I'm going to be 53 in September. So that's about 23 years ago. And about 5 years ago, things started to really happen for me, where I started getting like foot ulcers in my foot and had a hole in my foot from the foot ulcer and had to get like stuff done on my left foot, heel damage. Like I said, I'm just doing the abridged version basically.
Yeah,
and
fine.
The other foot, I had to get my big toe removed, and about 6 months after that, I had to get the other 4 toes removed.
Holy cow!
I had
all 5. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then during that whole time, I had a problem with my back where I had a MRSA infection inside my spine, and you'll get a kick out of the story of the hospital because of your situation. But I actually went one time with back pain, okay, and they looked at me and they just gave me like an IV medication, like Tylenol, and then it didn't work. Like it didn't do anything for me. So I told them, and they're like, "Well, we already discharged you, so you have to come back tomorrow to look at why you're still in pain." And I'm like, I'm right here, like what if I was having a heart attack or something like that? Like he would send me home, And so I ended up going home because I had no choice. But I came back to like 3 days later, and this was actually around my birthday. So it was like last year, September, or maybe it might have been 2 years. Time flies by for me anymore. And I went back and told him I was like not using the bathroom too much. This time I could hardly walk at all. I could walk, but just very, very hard to do, you know. And again, making it a little shorter, the security guard actually took over. I was there for 16 hours. Security guard takes me in the wheelchair, wheels me outside, and says, "Okay, you can go home now. No discharge papers or nothing. Just take me out of the hospital." So a few more days after that, now it's September 19th. My birthday's on the 20th. September 19th, I go back, and I already made complaints by this time, calling the administration and everything. And so this time the doctor actually looked at my spine. He actually did an MRI and he did a CAT scan, all that fun stuff. And that's when they found the MRSA in the spine. And by this time I was so bad from not being looked at, not having any antibiotics, that I literally was bedridden. Like literally could not even sit down in the wheelchair anymore. I was so bad for about like a month and a half, 2 months. Nurses and orderlies had to pull me up in order to get me to sit up in the bed.
So you actually got readmitted and you were in the hospital after that. Oh, okay. Well, at least they let you back in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, as a new customer, so you know, so they actually did. They admitted me, and then I went to rehab and all that fun stuff. And you know, try being on carnivore during rehab. You know, it's
I have.
Yeah, no, I know you have. That's why I said that you would definitely understand with what I'm talking
even when you think you're eating meat, even when you think you find out that it's phony meat, you find out that it's all soy filler. And you find out that even if you think you're eating eggs and bacon, you're eating.
Oh, you know it's not real eggs or bacon.
No,
or
the bacon is turkey.
They're filling it with stuff. You know,
the bacon is turkey bacon loaded with sugar, and the eggs. I think they were real eggs, but I know damn well they fried them in seed oils and not butter.
Exactly.
Yeah, you couldn't taste any butter.
Yeah, and it's funny too. Like I actually, on the last time I went to the hospital, in the hospital, I told the doctor, pointing out, I said to him, I said, you know, like you guys are taking care of my foot. It was like finally closing my final operation for closing the foot up, and I told him, I said, you know, you guys are taking care of the foot. But I know what I'm doing about the diet. So no diabetic diet. Do not put me down as a diabetic diet. I might be diabetic, but I don't want to hear the nutritionist say to me, I can't have that because I'm diabetic, you know? And he's like, okay, fine. You know, like whatever, you know? So he put me off on it. And I actually had really good sugars. My sugars were like no more than 120. Like they were like, they were good for like being in the hospital, you know? And then one of the doctors, like his resident, like he was an attendee, his resident was like, "Oh, I'm going to be clever. I'm going to like put him on the diabetic diet and like and change and correct things for him." And meanwhile, my sugars are going up to 300. They're like skyrocketing because of all this crap, you know?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, it's like I think I just proved my point that I know more than you.
It doesn't matter. With me. You should have heard me in the hospital. I wish that somebody.
I would love that. I would love to.
I had wished I'd hired a documentary crew to stick with me through the whole thing and film me. I made some incredible speeches to these idiot doctors. They were afraid of me. They were afraid, which was good. Every time they did something, it launched me into another tirade. Why are you doing that? And then they'd spout some nonsense. I had a guy that was such a pusher of statins. I told you this. His quest in life was to get legislation passed that required all municipalities to put statins in the drinking water. And this guy, they assigned him to me.
Oh my God.
At my hospitalist. I mean, this is the kind of idiots that I had to deal with. And I finally, and the dietitian, oh God, she came to see me once. She gave my room a wide berth. I don't think she even wanted to talk to my roommate, lest she be in the same room with me. It was terrible. So they label you an uncooperative patient. Yep. And they leave you alone pretty much. And in that respect, it makes it easier.
Yeah. Yeah, because it helps you be a little bit more. But like, you know, like even though I was able to get them to do a little bit better for me on from that one doctor, we both know that the food is still suspect. You know, it's still not. You know, like you said before, you know, like the eggs, you know that they were fried in seed oils at the very least, or liquid eggs. You know,
Yeah, a
or
lot of times they
you
give
know,
you, but
you can only
uh,
do so much. You know.
yeah, yeah. I see. I should take a second. Aunt B and Jerry Voitos both bought me some coffee this morning. Thank you very much. Always want to thank people for doing that. Do you have coffee? Do you drink coffee? You don't, do you? Or you do? Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I brought it from work. Actually, so
Oh,
so
okay.
technically, I made it myself. Yeah.
You have to imagine if you're working at 3 o'clock in the morning, coffee is very helpful.
Actually, I didn't. I poured this for myself for you because I'm doing morning coffee with Mitch. But I just had hot water basically throughout the whole. You know, I only worked like like 3 hours today. But you know,
Well,
I'm only
that's
working
nice.
like short shifts until you know, because I was working 8 hours and it was just killing me. So you know, so I asked, and they're like, "Okay, why don't you come in at 4 o'clock instead and work until 8?" But I told her I had you today, and she's like, "Okay, well, I'll send you home at 7 then." So I was
What
able
kind
to
of work you work? If you don't mind me asking, what kind of
just
work is it?
oh, that's fine. Just a convenience store. Quick, it's called Quick Check
Oh, okay,
here in New Jersey.
okay. And all this hospital stuff and these problems you're talking about. How long ago did that happen?
It's going to be about the final time I went was almost a year ago.
Okay, so it's still recent.
Yeah,
So you still on the diabetic spectrum?
I am. I am. My last, I call them baselines, but my last baseline of the A1C was 7.6. When I first started carnivore, it was 8.9. So
Okay,
it's
well
coming
you're
down.
going in
I've
the
cut
right
my insulin
direction.
in half. You know, I still have some high numbers and stuff like that, but my highest number now, sugar level, is about 180. Like I think, yeah, last night it went to about 200, but I didn't take any medication, so I think that might be an indication, you know. But everything is just coming back. You know, I've lost a lot of weight. I've gone from a 44-inch waist to a 40-inch waist. So
Oh, that is a lot. That is a lot of weight.
yeah.
I know
I mean,
because
I don't know if you know this or not, but like 20 years ago, I was really heavy. I used to be about 379
no,
pounds.
holy cow. No, I didn't know that. See, I was I started fairly young. Way back when Atkins wrote the book,
Right.
and I heard of the low carb, and I said, "What? That makes more sense to me than anything I've ever heard." And I tried to do it. Now I'm still a carb addict, so that was my ruination. And I would go on and off and on and off all my life. But the most I allowed myself to get before I got so disgusted when I looked at was about 210 pounds, 42-inch waist. So I never really got to one of those, huge. But basically a skinny guy. I got a very small, very light frame,
And I know I'm
and
not going to be 40 inches forever. I know it's going to keep on going,
oh,
keep on going.
it is. It is, as long as you can keep. But I'm sure you're a sugar addict like the rest of us, and you got to keep that under control. That's how you became a diabetic. So, got
Right.
to, I guess, keep that under control. But the good news is you believe the truth about diabetes, that it's not a lifetime sentence, that it
Yeah.
is a poisoning and not a disease like other diseases. It can be reversed. The challenge, I think, only is, and I talk a lot about addiction, is just controlling that addiction
I
and
agree.
learning what foods spike your sugar. Do you have a CGM?
Yeah. Right now, I'm at 94.
Okay, see, that's the greatest tool in the world, and not just for diabetics. If people are
It stimulates your
pre-diabetic or
sugar.
thinking,
Yeah.
yeah, it allows you to not have to listen to the wives' tales and not have to take somebody else's word for it. It allows you to see firsthand evidence. When I eat this, my blood sugar doubles or spikes. I don't care what you say. Previously to this, we only had somebody else's word for it. But
Right.
that's the greatest thing, and people can use it and should probably use it for a couple of weeks, seeing exactly what their favorite foods they think. They say, well, blueberries won't spike your blood sugar. Well, okay. The only fallacy, the only pitfall I see with the CGMs, they measure glucose. They don't measure fructose.
Yeah, that's true.
So a kind of a lifestyle got started that fruit was so much healthier because it doesn't affect your blood sugar. Well, what they don't tell you is it trashes your liver.
Yeah,
Which is
it still
worse.
does the damage. Yes.
Yeah, which is worse, and you end up with cirrhotic liver from fatty liver disease because that's where all the sucrose goes. The liver metabolizes it, and it can't turn it into fat fast enough to store it away, so it starts depositing itself in the liver. So that's the only thing you really need to be aware of that you can't prove to yourself. And if you're not aware of that, you may get lulled into the trap of eating more and more fruit and
Right, because you're
fructose
not seeing that number.
because you're not seeing the rise. And I think that every CGM should come with a big warning label on it, like a pack of cigarettes. Warning, Surgeon General says, beware of sucrose. It doesn't show up on this meter, you know?
Right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, luckily for me, I don't, like I've been for the past, I don't know if you saw in the chats or not, but today is my 5-month anniversary. So.
Oh, happy anniversary, man. Good for you.
Or
Good for you.
whatever you call it.
Carniversary. No, that's great. That's super. Have you been watching the chat? Furrow Grandma, I see a question for you.
Yeah, it's like right in front of me right here. So,
Yeah, I see
I
Furrow
had to go on
Grandma
my phone to answer, but I have been looking.
Yeah, Furrow Grandma just asked a question, and what I'll do is I'll get down to the bottom of the chat here. We're going to miss a few questions, but I can only do so much. Here's a question from Kathy. It wasn't a question, it was a statement. Build bigger muscles, she said. Here it is. Thomas, I don't remember which channel I was on, but apparently some people have a slightly overactive gluconeogenesis action. So it could be something you have no control over. You understand what she means?
Not really sure what. I think I know, but
gluconeogenesis is the mechanism that we have that enables us to live a perfectly normal life without having to eat not the first gram of sugar because we have a sugar factory in us.
Oh, okay.
We need sugar. We need sugar. We need sugar. We need it for our brain. About 30% of our brain supposedly needs sugar. Our muscles store glycogen, which is sugar. And our liver stores, and we can store.
Doesn't our liver do something with the
Our liver makes the glycogen, and our muscles store it, and we can only store about 24 hours worth. And this is the reason why we are sugar addicts. We only can store 1 day's worth of energy before our brain panics and says we're dead by this time tomorrow if we don't find more sugar. So those cravings are the imperatives of a panicked subconscious mind to encourage whatever animal, including humans, to drop everything and make the most important task, find and consume vast quantities of sugar because it's really scarce. And everything we exhibit when it comes to eating sugar, the uncontrollable binges, the fact that our appetite never gets satisfied. We just want more and more of it. And the great deal of pleasure we get from it. Because that's what the dopamine system is. It's a motivational tool for the brain. You gain, you motivate with pleasure. So the things that are most important for us to do are the things that give us the most pleasure. Topping the list, sex, because the most important thing our species can do is procreate, followed by nourishment. So we get a tremendous amount of pleasure from eating sugar. And we don't get that kind of pleasure. You don't get the same comfort food type feeling from just eating a ribeye, but we do sure as hell get it from eating sugar. So that's what gluconeogenesis enables our body to turn protein and other things into sugar. Because if you look at all of these things, and it's very interesting, and I don't see people looking at them this way. If you look at every one, if you look at fat, look at sugar, look at ketones, all of those things are made of the same three ingredients: carbon and water, carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Just that the molecules are arranged a little differently. So it's no big deal. It's no big deal for us to have all these pathways that convert this fat into that fat or this sugar into that fat. It's just a matter of scrambling up the molecules. It's the same stuff. And in different form, the same stuff has entirely different properties. Because, well, this gets into organic chemistry, but this is what happens. And what Grandma was saying is that some people have a slightly overactive gluconeogenesis action. It means their body makes too much sugar. It's got to be very, very rare. But
I mean,
I don't think that you have that.
No. Matter of fact, I was, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or not. You know, I was actually having a theory. Sometimes every once in a while something pops in my head. You know, like it could be wrong or right, but it still pops in my head. And for the past couple of days, my sugars have been a little bit higher than they've been lower, but for the past couple of days, they've been like a little bit higher. And I can't help but wonder if my body is now releasing some more glycogen from my liver that was stored all this time in there, and if that's what's bringing my sugars up a little bit, because I'm doing the same thing. I'm still eating.
I doubt it. I doubt that that's true because
you're a little bit more professional.
There's no permanent storage of glycogen. Glycogen is like gas in the gas tank of a delivery driver.
Okay. So it's going to keep on going down.
It's never been there more than maybe today. You know, there's no. It's not long-term storage. It's just temporary. And our body uses fat for long-term storage.
Okay.
Because fat is really the preferred energy.
I mean,
so that's
I'm not going to lie. I was kind of hoping it was that, because I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, that just means my liver is healing too. You know?
Well, it might, but you can't tell by day. It could be the time of day. It could be the dawn effect.
Right.
It could be gluconeogenesis. How high did it go up? How much?
Well, when I was working, it went up to about 212.
Well, that's a big. From where? 212 from where?
Oh, it was high when I woke up, so it was about 189 when I woke up.
Well, you
made about 212.
That's hard to say. That's not that much. I don't think
now
that's much.
Now it's down to 90. So
yeah, there you go. It's a spike. I wouldn't worry about the spikes. The thing that's really, the thing that's really important to you, more important than your blood sugar levels, is the A1C, because that tells you the average of your blood sugar levels. So as long as that A1C keeps coming down, things like our cholesterol levels, our blood sugar levels, everything in our blood is constantly going wildly one way or another, because that's what's the way it works.
Which I'll find out in July. That's when I get my A1C tested again. So
yeah, they have home tests now. I don't know if they're all that accurate or not. Got a question here from Jerry Voita. Says, "What's your favorite carnivore meal?"
Well, I think most of us like steak, but I like pretty much anything. But I eat mostly beef.
Okay.
I actually get burgers from Walmart. I get to save money. I get the case of burgers. They're like 32 in a thing.
Frozen. Frozen.
I'll just eat them with some cold
They're
butter, like Papa Carnivore does.
frozen, right?
Oh, of course.
You buy them frozen? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is I would buy them fresh, but I actually get my food delivered because of the way my legs and everything.
I do too now from Sam's Club. I get my stuff
Yeah.
delivered.
But the thing is when you go to Walmart, like if I say I buy a steak, right? Say I buy like a nice steak. If it's a weighted item, anything that would have to be like it's not the same weight every time.
Yeah.
If you do that, they charge you extra on the weight. So like say I buy a steak for $10. Well, that steak to be delivered is going to be about $23 for delivery. That's a big jump in price.
Well, that's from Walmart. The way there's a delivery fee. The way and these things, I buy, for example, chicken thighs. Same weight. They don't know what the package weighs, so they estimate it. But the fact is that it doesn't cost me. I actually only pay for the weight. I don't pay surcharges or anything, and they're honest about it. But I buy over $50 before I have a delivery, and there's no delivery fee. It's free when you're a Plus member at Sam's Club. So I get the free delivery. Then I usually tip them about 10%, because if you got an order that's $50 to $100, that's a $5 to $10. That's enough tip. You know, it's more than most people tip them. So it doesn't cost me a whole lot more. But if you try to buy one item, you know, like some people do, you're going to pay for all that delivery.
Well, I'm just giving you an example of the price of the one item. Obviously, I buy more than just one steak, you know. But so what I do is I buy stuff that's pre-measured, like the burgers. They're in a box, so that's pretty much 32 burgers. I buy eggs. I buy them by like 60 count because I also cook for my roommate too. So you know, I mean, he's not really carnivore, and he kind of still does his own thing when it comes to that. But I'm not going to make the guy starve. And if I didn't, he would be eating junk food. You know, he'd be eating like donuts and candies and everything like that. It just would not be good for him. But so I do that. I cook him breakfast in the morning, cook him dinner at night, and he does in between. And but I'll do that, and then every once in a while I'll take an Uber to to the grocery store with a backpack and a couple extra bags, and I'll get, like, with a little extra money, I'll get some steaks and stuff like that, and I just do that. Just do it that way. You know, I have like a small freezer that holds them all in, and I'll buy like online. I'll buy like at least four boxes of the burgers, and I buy the chicken for him, and I don't really eat chicken that much. Every once in a while I have it, but not really often. But
I like the chicken. I like the chicken thighs.
Yeah, that's usually what I buy.
I cook them in the air fryer. It's the cheapest. The cheapest. I gotta tell you, I ran out of them. I got from Sam's Club. They come 6-7 pounds of them in a flat. Okay, it's like $1.25 a pound. So I got 2 of those flats. I'm telling you, it was some weight there. It's like lifting a bowling ball, and I put them 3 in a package, a vacuum sealed. I had 10. I had like 28 or 30 of those thighs, and the whole mess. I'm talking 8 meals.
Yeah,
it was $16.
Yeah,
$16, and they're delicious if you skin on in the air fryer. It's a great meal, and tasty, crunchy. When the skin gets crunchy, put a little garlic salt on it. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, look, what I was doing is I actually cook it, you know, and I'll slip butter under the skin, you know.
Oh, man. That's even better.
Yeah.
But at least the thigh
it comes up nice and crispy, and
at least the thigh has got fat and skin.
Yeah.
Because a skinless chicken breast is the most useless food I can ever imagine.
I never understood it, and in order to do skinless chicken breast, you definitely need a lot of sauce. Like I was able to do it when I was into ketchup and stuff, but now it's like I'd have like 3 bites and my throat would be like all like coughing and everything.
Yeah, I know, and that's what they want you to eat. They tell you to eat, you know, and no more than a couple ounces at a time, because you save room for those. Save room for those poisonous plants. Ellen is with us. Hi, Ellen. She said hi to you and me. I put that on the screen. And Lizzie has a question. I need more water on carnivore because our kidneys work hard on a lot of protein. Could that be why I need more water? I feel dehydrated. You know, that's one of those things that I don't really believe that carnivore is hard on your kidneys. I think carnivore is probably easy on your kidneys because that's the way we're supposed to eat. Do I have proof of that? No, but that makes sense to me. Does it mean you need more water? I don't think so. I think you just drink the amount of water you need to drink. Don't drink too much water. And I know this is gross. It's bathroom talk. But it's very simple to know if you're properly hydrated. When you pee, look at the color of your urine. If it is crystal clear, like gin, you're drinking too much water. If it's dark yellow, you're dehydrated. It should be straw colored, light yellow, and if you're worried about protein, the way to tell if you're dumping a lot of protein is you get bubbles. You get foam, bubbles, when you in your urine. Ken Berry on one of his videos answered somebody's question about the bubbles. And it's pretty normal to get bubbles whether you got excess protein or not. If the bubbles kind of go away within 2 to 4 minutes. In other words, they burst on their own, and then after it's clear, not to worry. The only true way to tell if you're spilling a lot of protein or other things in your urine that you shouldn't be spilling, which might indicate kidney problems, is get a urinalysis, and they check for all these different things. And don't be alarmed. The medical community goes up in arms. Flags urinalysis reports whenever they see see ketones, which is, of course, what we're trying to accomplish. Anyway, all right. Sorry about that. I had to preach a little bit.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm trying to keep up with the chat now. We're almost to an hour. What happened? Time flies, doesn't it?
Time flies by. It seems to do that with me. I don't know why.
Yeah. Jerry, he agrees with me. Bought 2 more flats of Sam's chicken thighs. Excuse me, Friday. So good and cheap. They're so cheap, and people from other parts of the world must be smarter than we are. In America, they consider those things throwaways. When's the last time you went into a restaurant and saw chicken thighs on the menu?
Very rare.
The closest you can come to that is when you buy the quarter that has the thigh and the drumstick. They do serve that. They serve wings, they serve breasts, they serve everything else. But nobody wants the chicken thigh. I mean, you in a restaurant. Yet every chicken that's slaughtered produces 2 chicken thighs.
Yeah. I mean,
to do.
I mean, do they do them at the Chinese restaurants, like those buffets?
I don't know if the whole thighs. They may get them and take the dark meat off of them and use the dark meat in some of their dishes because it's cheap. And there's only one, believe it or not, in that whole chicken thigh. There's usually just one little bone.
Yeah.
Not even as big as the bone.
I don't just get the thighs. I get the whole quarter, so I get the leg.
Oh, okay. I don't like drumsticks too much, so I get the thighs. That's where it's cheapest. Drumsticks are more expensive. Chicken wings are more expensive. $1 something a pound, $1.25 a pound is obscene cheap.
No, I just get like a bag. I get a bag of the chicken quarters. It's about 10 pounds. It's about $9 for the bag. So I just get like a couple bags and
it's a cheap way to eat.
Individually wrap them, and then I have them. So then when I do his meals, I just pull it out, like defrost a little bit, put it in the oven, and that's it.
This is funny. DS
Yeah,
111.
that. I don't know if you heard me like just kind of like laugh just a pinch.
No, I didn't.
What I was looking at.
I'm talking about urine. He's calling it piss information. That's oh, that is
DS 111.
great.
That's
Oh man, yeah. You got a hell of a wit. That's funny.
you gotta love the wisdom on a lot of people here.
Oh, if some of the people in our community are the sharpest knives in the drawer, I got to tell you, you can't be dumb.
No.
And,
Well, I mean,
I'd be
I
interested
think
in
I
this
could be
stuff.
wrong, but I think about at least 90% of the people in my channel are Mitch Fits. I think they came from you, and
Good.
I mean, I could be wrong, but it just seems like that we're all together.
We are the core of the community, and right now on Sunday morning, at this particular instance, there's 104 people, which by all measures is not a hell of a lot of people watching a live stream.
No.
Ken Berry gets thousands. Chafee gets 3, 4, 5, 6, 700. They're answering people's questions. People go to those live streams not for the entertainment value, because between you and me, Anthony Chafee, a brilliant guy, knows what he's talking about, but not a very entertaining human being. He's an informative human being.
Yeah.
Ken Berry is more entertaining. He clowns around a little bit. I like to think that some of the draw that I have is my flamboyant and outrageous personality. That's
right.
Entertainment. I try to inform a little bit, but I'm not equipped to.
I find Anthony Chafee to be very long-winded. I like him, but he's like, I remember I was on a Zoom call with him, and I was about the 6th person in line, and we still had about an hour left. And so I had my hand raised, and he's answering all these questions, and literally I pretty much was dismissed because, which is fine, but it was because he was so long-winded answering, and some of them were really simple answers. They're
he does that. I noticed that. I can't watch. I can't watch hours of him anymore, and I'm sure there's people that have gotten tired of me. It's just normal. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me, but we do have a core of people that. It's like a church almost, those people, when you go in that church on Sunday, you can count on those people to be there, and they are, and you become great friends with them. And DS111, and don't even know his first name. Never even asked. I figured if people want me to know their name, they'll put it in after DS111 and put their name in there. And that's okay. Harry Dion asks us both, Thomas and Mitch, do you eat lamb? I buy a leg of lamb at Costco for $5.40 a pound. I cut it into steaks. Do you eat lamb?
I don't eat it often, but I've had it. Every once in a while when I go shopping, like I was telling you before, I'll get something I don't have that much, like something other than steaks. Like I actually just recently had beef back ribs, which I don't have that often, and I just put them in the air fryer and cook them up, and actually I rubbed some ghee on it, and then I did some bacon grease on it as well. And
how were they?
They were good.
Good.
I mean, anytime you add bacon grease to anything, it's always going to be good.
Oh yeah. Now, most people, I usually eat pork ribs when I eat ribs. Baby back ribs or the St. Louis, they were bigger ones. Yeah, but again, like anything else that becomes popular, like wings, they get more and more and more expensive. Things that used to be cheap cuts of meat get popular. They get popular for a simple reason.
Because
the restaurants, the restaurants start making fancier and fancier dishes out of them because their food cost is lower.
Yeah.
Then the next thing, they become trendy.
Right.
And once they become, and chicken wings, there's nothing more obvious than what happened to the price of raw chicken wings. It used to be garbage. They used to feed that stuff to the pigs. There wasn't a lot of meat on it, but boy, somebody came up with the hot wings thing, and next thing you know, we got chains of wing restaurants, and now chicken wings are $5 a pound. Chicken thighs are $1 a pound. The poor chicken thigh, nobody wanted it, so we'll take advantage of it. Certainly, cheap carnivore. Very
And
little
chicken thighs
on
so much.
carnivore.
I mean, I love chicken wings. Don't get me wrong, but chicken thighs. I mean, there's just so much more fat to it. There's so much more.
Ah, dark meat is
I
so
mean,
much
you're
better
getting so much
anyway.
more for the price of that. You know.
Yeah, and then the chicken wings, in order to make them desirable, they got to dip them in sugar anyway. It's all
Right.
about the sauces. It's not about the wings, but it just goes to show you people get used to certain things and the
Well, what I
value of
do
them.
when I do chicken wings on the very rare occasion when I actually do chicken wings, I actually now I'll just stew them in the air fryer, and I do a few of them, just enough for myself, and then I do them with. It's not really carnivore, so don't call the police or anything like that. But I do the hot sauce as my dipping sauce, and I just dip them in the hot sauce, and that's it, and I just fry them up until they're crisp.
Yeah, and if you don't overdo it, you can tell by your CGM whether you've overdone the sugar
Oh
in those
yeah,
sauces.
yeah. I don't like douse it with it. I just kind of like have a side. Sometimes I'll even mix some sour cream with it and do like a sour cream, like sauce with it, and it comes out really good.
I'm lucky. I'm not a sauce person. I never have been, so I don't have those. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
even at
not as
one.
much
I
now as I
like the
used
stuff
to be.
plain.
But if I actually do chicken breast, I definitely would have to do the sauce. I'm sorry. Yeah, I like a little moisture in my food.
I am
I don't want
perusing the chat.
to Sahara Desert.
I don't mean to be quiet. I am perusing the chat. I see Ricky Lee is here with us. How you doing? St. Louis style ribs, Mitch recipe, oven cooked with the smoked salt. Yeah, that Malden smoked salt is fabulous. You got it there? Yes, sir. I love
And
that
guess where I
stuff.
got it from?
I love that stuff.
Mitch, guess where I got this from?
Amazon.
From you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Every little bit helps. Everybody's agreeing with you that Anthony Chafee is
He's a great guy. Don't get me wrong.
definitely
I love it.
long. Yeah.
But he's very long-winded.
Well, I have a tendency to do that too. I have to try to check myself.
Right.
You start talking about something, and there's always nuance, and I keep that gives you a little detour. And you start talking about the nuance, and sometimes I get so wandering around in all these nuances, I forget
think
where
he's
I got
a
on
lot
the
worse.
bus.
I think he's a lot worse than you are. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Well, he's a knowledgeable guy.
He is. He is.
One of the things that some of them, like Sean Baker and he, they are, I think, too strict, too disciplined on carnivore. Anthony Chafee with the plants, especially because we are designed, and I get heat when I mention this from some pure strict carnivores, but we have all of the machinery in us because we had to eat the plants in the course of coming from the last million years or two, in times when there was no meat. So we have adapted to those things. We have the mechanisms to deal with some of these toxins, and we deal with some of the other of these toxins in the preparation methods. For example, you'll never find a grandmother in Italy that lets anybody eat the skin of a tomato. They peel the tomato. The skin is where the brunt of the defense chemicals are.
Yeah, they boil it and they peel it off.
Yeah, and same thing with potatoes and beans, especially legumes. Those things are killer. The strongest poisons known to man that we have.
I mean, lucky for me, I've never been into beans. I've never been a bean person. When I was a kid, the only thing I used to make the comment. The only thing I liked were jelly beans and.
There you go. You and most people. You and most people.
And I like lima beans too, but even that was like.
But that and peas, but those things you really need to soak them and boil them and drain them and rinse them, or they're going to kill you. The strongest poisons. Ricin. We've all heard of ricin. Comes from castor beans.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who watched Breaking Bad will remember where Walter White, the chemist.
I actually never saw all the episodes of Breaking Bad. Just the first.
Great show.
I gotta get Netflix and go back to watching it.
That's a great show, and he made ricin, and that was this deadly poison. One little tiny molecule of that stuff would kill you in an instant. So that comes from beans. Those are defense chemicals. So we have the ability to. So unless it triggers, and this is my philosophy, unless it's just pure sugar with no nutritional value whatsoever, unless it triggers an addiction, which makes you binge on it, small amounts of these plants, we can handle them. And if they make your diet more enjoyable, I heard Rick on his live stream yesterday, about 4th hour in, say something that I subscribe to as well, is that stop being a Nazi about carnivore. Carnivore, as it's scientifically defined, means any animal that derives 70%, at least 70% of his nutrition from from foods that come from animals. Okay, for a lot of people that'd be way too much plants, because plants are primarily some form of sugar. Plants are mostly carbs. Meat have almost no carbs. So there's an awful lot you have to watch out for. But don't eat the high oxalate stuff. Try to prepare the stuff you do eat. Find out which families of plants, if you want to eat plants, you should stay away from. Stay away from nightshades. Stay away from beans and legumes.
Right.
Stay away from grains. You know, if you actually feel like you have to eat a vegetable, God forbid, eat some broccoli or a Brussels sprout. Don't eat corn. The problem is most of these so-called vegetables are recent inventions, and they're bred to have higher and higher and higher sugar contents, cause that kind of makes us want to eat them, so we buy them. Broccoli, a Brussels sprout, for example, didn't exist 100 or 200 years ago. There was no such thing as a Brussels sprout. Most of those things come from the cabbage family. And even the big cabbages we have today didn't exist. They were just little gruggly things that you ate as a last resort. You know, if we turn somebody loose in the woods, like they do on these survival shows, even a lush forest, there ain't much they could eat in there without killing themselves or poisoning themselves or stumbling and getting a rash or an itch from it, like poison ivy. We've invented all this beautifully colorful. We've invented the rainbow. And now they urge us to eat the rainbow. Yeah. And the rainbow is killing us.
Yeah.
But don't be a militant. Don't be a Nazi about this. Don't punish yourself if you. That's why I made that coffee video, and I got the comments are great. I got accused.
I have to see that. I have to admit I haven't seen it yet. But it's on like
every 2 seconds in that video, I said, I made it known that I was biased, that I love coffee, that I'm going to drink coffee, that this is my opinion. I think I said my opinion 5 or 10 times in there, but this is my opinion.
I'm sure it's good. I
but
making a good video.
I made no bones about the fact that I'm drinking coffee, but I gave both sides of the argument. And if you do a lot of research, you'll find that most non-militant carnivores don't find too much wrong with it. There's always some clown that comes, oh, guys, that's a microgram of this chemical and blah, blah, blah. We can handle certain toxins. Our body can detoxify, because if we hadn't, that would not be passed forward. That would have ended that line of the human race right there.
Right.
So don't be too hard on yourself. First and foremost, don't eat foods that come in a cardboard box with an ingredient list this long. Simple. Second, eat only one ingredient in foods. If everybody on the planet did just that, there'd be no health problems today. There'd be no health problems. Then avoid certain plants. Avoid certain plants. You can still have a Mediterranean-like diet if you eat a lot of fish and seafood and eat some salad and vegetables and things like that, as long as they're prepared properly. You don't have to be a pure carnivore. The only people who I think have to be on something as strict as a lion diet are people with real immune system disorders. People that, no matter what they eat, it makes them very sick. They can live on just ruminant meat, salt, and water, like Michaela Peterson. There aren't too many of us like that.
Yeah.
We
I
get
think that I'm right now, I think I'm pretty strict, for myself for the most part, except for like a few things here and there, like coffee and hot sauce. But, because it's helping with my diabetes, like I find carnivore is the most helpful to bring down the sugars and stuff like that, to bring my A1C back down. Once that happens, then I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I will start putting some vegetables back in.
Well, be careful, because the things that cause your A1C to skyrocket in the first place haven't changed. It's like it's like
no, I'll be
ice
very
cream.
cautious. I'm just saying that I don't know the future. Like none of us do.
Well, who does? Do you think I ever thought I would have had a stroke?
No.
In that video I made yesterday, I'm reading from an article that said the 9 reasons why coffee is good for you. I mean, and this is from John Hopkins. Okay, 9 reasons, and it reduces the risk of colon cancer, reduces the risk of heart disease, reduces the risk of diabetes, and the last one on the list says reduces the risk of stroke.
Meanwhile, you've been drinking all this time.
And I laughed and I said, "Oh, I missed that one." Oh yeah,
That's funny.
Yeah, but I started my video with a clip of Anthony Chaffee saying on an interview, saying caffeine strips potassium from the bloodstream and causes you to have increased leg cramps and stuff. But basically with a negative, and I didn't find very many negatives. The big brunt of the whole thing was the old doses the poison. Drink less than 3 cups of coffee a day, and you can handle it generally, unless you get some particularly bad reaction. It's not going to kill you. I got to tell you, the coffee Nazis were out. The comments, I got comments, people.
Oh, I'm sure. And I'm sure you already knew you were going to when you put
out every video. Tell me where I'm wrong, why I'm wrong, what I should do, how stupid I am, There's always somebody out there, some friggin' narcissist, egomaniac, has got to show everybody in the world how much smarter than them he is.
Yep.
I hide him. I see anything like that. Anybody tells me what I need to be doing, I just go on. I used to feel bad about that. Not anymore. I don't want to see him again. They got nothing to tell me that is going to mean anything to me. I do read all the comments, and I am behind now. I've got hundreds of them from yesterday that I have to read and answer today. And some of these comments are short books.
Oh,
God help them. God help them. They write page after page after page on my cell phone. I say, is this ever going to end? And I finally get to the point where I say, I don't have the time for this shit. Give it a heart. That's the only way I can get it out of my feed, is to deal with it. It has to. You have to answer it or heart it. One or the other. Can't do anything.
Just
Or remove it, or delete it. I could do that. I most of these long comments, I just can't read them all. I don't have the time. A tiny little type on a cell phone to sit there reading one comment for 15 minutes, trying to understand what got a point. And people have, I don't know, they just, I don't mind them wanting to write this. I think it's flattering if they want to take that kind of time, but I can't. I do read them all. I read every comment, which is
short, basically, like one sentence at the most, basically.
Yeah, it was it Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly, he used to say, "Keep them pithy." Pithy. Keep them pithy. Oh, I have a text. Let's see here. My kid's probably wondering if I'm alive. Indeed, alive and well. Let's see. Oh, it's my daughter. I don't know if she knows I'm on now, but if you know I'm on, hi, Diane. It's my daughter, Diane, and they went to Disney last week. Her and her husband. They had to come home early because her husband got very sick at Disney.
Oh.
And they came home, and I just got a text from her that says, and now I'm sick. I guess it was inevitable. Let me just answer her real quick.
No problem.
Of course.
Never want to ignore your children, your daughter.
No, I can't, because they check. If I don't check in with them, which I didn't this morning, I usually every morning text them, just checking. You know, I am an old man.
Right. And you did have a stroke recently, too.
I had a stroke. No, they never used to do that, but since a stroke.
Right. That's what I mean.
An awful lot can happen. I can slip and I don't want to say it, but I could fall. I could be one of these, help, I'm falling and I can't get up. I got this button, but I do put it, I don't wear it to bed, for God's sake. I have to be very cognizant and very careful. And yet I have to keep trying to walk more and more without a walker or a cane in order to relearn the balance. So it's a fine balancing act between how much risk am I willing to take for the gains that I get.
Like when you walk without the walker or cane, that
I can walk
sometimes, like hold on to something, like when you're
walking. That to me is no different than walking with a walker. In other words, having something close by. Yeah,
but I do the same thing when I go near a tree. I'll like hold on to the tree.
I don't need to hold on. I just want to know it's there in case I lose my balance. But still, I can walk maybe 50 feet, but I still feel very unsure about walking if there's nothing close to me. Like right now, I'm in my office. I have my desk that goes back towards the door. From the desk to the door, I can walk with no support because there's a door frame there. When I go out the door, the bathroom is off to my left, so I can reach the door frame of the bathroom. When I go in the bathroom, I have a sink right in front of me. If I have to touch something before I get over to the toilet, I can touch that. So I have basically enough touch points from my seat here at the desk to the bathroom. What I try to do, considering that those touch points are there, is use those as opportunities to not touch anything. And that's how that is the cautious way that I'm trying to learn, again, and regain this balance of walking. So now, if I had to get up from here and go to the bathroom, I more than likely will make it all the way to the toilet and stand up and do my thing without having to touch anything. But I wouldn't go that same distance at an open place where there was nothing, because then I'd be a little self-conscious. See, probably would trip and fall for just from caution's sake. Of course, I haven't used a wheelchair in a month. I keep going to smaller and smaller appliances, and now I'm using a cane with the 4 feet on it.
Right. Yeah,
And
my mom had that. I never had to have that, but
yeah, and I don't need it for support. It's not that I don't have the strength in my legs to walk, and I need to lean on the cane for that. It's the balance. It's all about balance with me. Which takes a while to come back, because the art of balancing requires very fine motor control of your muscles, because you're constantly making hundreds of little tiny adjustments every minute, and that's where the balance issues come in, and even the connection maybe to the inner ear.
yeah.
So getting better, but it's one of those things that isn't going to come right back,
I mean,
real raging back.
I think it's remarkable how well you've gotten. You know, I think most people I know that have had strokes, they do not recuperate as quickly as you're doing. And I
Well,
think
and I'm going to blame Carnivore for it, folks, because that's what I
do
want
too. I think you would not be the way you are if you weren't on Carnivore.
I hope so, but I'd like,
Of course, they blame
that.
The carnivore is the cause of it, and
No, of course they do.
That's
but,
stupid in itself, but no, but like when I like walk, I'm actually a lot better. When I first started, I had to go to every tree basically and stop and hold on to it. It wasn't really because I was unbalanced. It was more because the pain was just so bad in the leg, that I just had to kind of like release a little bit, because, I was talking to Dr. Hampton, and he agrees with me that it's possible it could be from the toes, the nerves being cut from the toes coming off, that it's causing the pain in my leg, that it's just something I'm going to have, and it's going to get better with Carnivore, but it's always going to be there to some extent, but now the other day, actually, it was actually a Triumph. Or an NSV that they call like an SPG. I actually was able to go about half a mile without having to hold on to anything.
That's terrific. Well, I wish
I was only able to do it the one time, but still, it just.
I can't do that yet myself. That's for sure. But I'm working at it. But I'm cautious.
Yeah.
I probably could do it faster, but I cannot fall. I can get up off the ground if I happen to fall. I'm doing work around the house now that requires me to squat down, and I'm actually able to squat completely down. Both legs, get myself real low. Like the bottom of a squat. You go all the way down. I can do that now and get back up.
I can sometimes I can't.
But that's new. I have, a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't even think about doing that. But and I can bend down if I drop something on the floor. I can squat down and pick it up and get back up without having to hold on to anything if necessary. I can still maintain my balance. So
that's actually
coming back.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that sometimes still.
It's coming back slowly. My the one detriment I have right now is that I do have a bad back. I am hanging upside down on that orthopod.
Does that help you? I've thought about getting that.
Oh man, that orthopod thing, they're expensive, but
it's worth it.
It's like an inversion tape. Yeah. I mean, it saved my life 40 years ago, and all my life I've been able to manage this bad back with that because it stretches you out. And now I can use it again, and I am. But for the first, say, 2 months or 2.5 months of my recovery, it played havoc on my back. And when you're trying to walk and balance, what happens when you get that stabbing pain in your back, you lose everything. You just fall into the pain.
Yeah.
And that's been the biggest detriment. I think if it wasn't for the bad back, I would have been walking like a champ by now. But we all have these problems. What can you do? What can you do about it?
Well, I mean, one of the things I have with walking, it's not just the pain, but it's also the shoes. You try to get the proper shoes and the proper fit.
Or your joints go nuts.
Like I always like when I try to, like one time I tried running with these shoes on, and the analogy I use, and you'll like this, is imagine Tom and Jerry cartoon and the housewife that used to go on the table to get away from Jerry. That's kind of how I run when I'm wearing those shoes, because I'm like running like that.
Well, listen, you and me, by the time we grow up, we'll be all better. That's
Yeah. I thought I'd show you my new number on my CGM.
Oh wow, look at that. When do you start to worry about it going too low?
Well, the other day I did have a issue. I actually was really hot, like about 150. So I took some insulin. This is when I found out that I need to go less on the insulin. I was talking to one of the doctors, and Dr. Phil to be exact, and he's like, I think you need to lessen your insulin and talk to your doctor. Of course, my doctor was like, yeah, I'll see you in July, so we'll talk about it then. I'm thinking
Yeah,
like,
ask your doctor.
it's too late then.
Yeah,
So
who can get a
have
hold of
actually.
it?
Right. I've done the N=1 to myself, and I cut my insulin in half, and it seems to be working pretty well. But long story short, I took the insulin, and then I went downstairs, and within an hour, it went from like 150 to 53.
Wow, that's getting really really
You
low.
know, and the thing is, I started shaking. I started like feeling it. And I didn't want to go upstairs and get anything to eat. And I don't know if you're aware or not. I think I mentioned it to you. I live right above a chocolate shop.
Oh God.
So since I was so close, and pretty much half the people on this chat know this already, since I was so close, I went inside, and they're very accommodating. I get my coffee from them and everything like that, but I don't get anything else. And I just said, I need one Oreo cookie. Can you just give me one Oreo cookie? I need to bring my sugars up. And they asked me too. They go, do you want more? I go, no, just one. I just want one cookie. That's all I need. Just need to bring it up to like 75, and I should be able to go upstairs and get myself a couple burger patties. So I just did it like in a controlled environment. But yeah, I mean, I do like my sugars, and I know if I had more than one Oreo cookie, I know I would have been like the next day having more, and I would have.
Yeah, then the addiction kicks in, and
But
you're
I kept
stuck.
I kept the control. I
Good.
kept it. And that's one thing I've learned from this. Not to let it get out spiraling, but you know. But I mean, the thing is, I needed to be able to go up the stairs. And speaking of stairs, it's funny with my walking, I find it easier to go down steps because I can actually just hold onto the rail with one hand, and I can walk down the stairs like pretty normal as you can. Still careful. But going up the steps, sometimes I have to like hold on like both hands onto the rail, and it's like, so to me you'd think it'd be the other way around, but I just seem to have an easier time going down than going up.
Well, most
I guess
people,
if I had vertigo, I would have a hard time going down. But
it's easier to. They say that when they did a study of older people falling on stairs, that predominantly was when they were going downstairs. There
right.
was more falls than going upstairs. It's more uncontrolled because you're going down, gravity's assisting you, and it's easier and quicker to fall. Where you're going up the steps, you're not moving nearly as fast.
That's
So it might be the difference in the assist from gravity helping you or whatever. But if it's just a balance issue, it's hard to say why.
yeah. I mean, I just find it fascinating. Yeah, but it went down to like to 53, and I've probably had to go lower than that because I've actually had sometimes where I wake up in the morning and it's at like 60 when I wake up, and I know with the dawn effect and everything like that, you would think it'd be higher than 60 as waking up. So I'm guessing while I was asleep, it probably went lower than 60. Like lower than that's my obviously I'm asleep, so it's not like I can actually prove that.
I think the thing that you got to look out for most is you got to titrate yourself off of the insulin as needed, and having the CGM should allow you to do that. You can't this fallacy. Call your doctor. Nobody can get a hold of their doctor.
No.
I mean, if everybody who watched a commercial and they said, ask your doctor if you need Cymbalta, and they right away tried to get a hold of the doctor, forget it. Forget it. Tell your doctor immediately if you experience any of the following symptoms: death, anal leakage. They just keep going on and on and on. And or people are trying to get a hold of the doctor. They make an appointment to have a phone call with them. I do. The VA. I want to talk to my doctor. I got to write her a message on the message board first. Then I get a call from her assistant. That assistant schedules me for a phone call with her, maybe a week or two later. And that's how you talk to your doctor. Hi,
Yeah.
doc. Do I need some Volta? Yeah. You know.
But I find it so amazing that so many people that I know that like are like, well, what did your doctor say? What was like, as if like I'm putting this guy on a pedestal, and you know, and they like control every bit of my body, you know, and
Oh, yeah.
and
And
it's
you got
probably
to
why we're in such bad shape, because we do put the doctors on a pedestal, you know, and it's just
I don't anymore. Not anymore.
no,
I don't want to
neither do
listen to
I.
them. Doc,
I mean,
keep it to yourself. Well, come back and tell me when you've learned something, you
yeah,
know, because obviously you haven't. You're spouting propaganda, not science. At any rate, we're about at it, man. We've been at this an hour and a half so far.
and this is wonderful, you know.
Yeah, we could do that. No wonder Rick stays on all day. I could do this all day, but
I probably helped him a few times stay up. You know, I've done a few
yeah.
phone calls with him, and I'll be on for like 3 hours with him. So
Well, this is because these aren't interviews. Like
yes,
the typical guest is an interview.
right.
You know, I can't keep my mouth shut that long anyway, so it's why I don't do interviews.
No, I had
I
a
think
good time, and I knew it was going to be a typical interview. I just, you know, you kind of learn. With you, I kind of knew the style because we know each other a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And
when
I
you go,
hope that
when
I
you
was
do an
able to.
interview with somebody you don't know, it's, you know, it's a little nerve wracking. I mean, it's fun, it's good, but you know, like there's a few people I didn't know who they were, and it was like, okay, you know,
I hope
what am I
that.
rolling myself into? You know.
Oh no, Peter's number one. Peter is number one in the chat.
Did you
Why?
have any doubt, Peter?
Why am I not surprised? Peter, I'm going to start calling you prolific Peter. Oh, man. I knew that was going to happen. Okay. And Peter says, oh, this is funny. It's some new thing that YouTube has added. I'm trying not to be ranked, but of course they may be number one. Well, they made you number one because you have put more chats in this chat than any other single person, Peter.
About numbers,
And,
yeah.
and I'm not surprised. So at any rate, we still love you. I'll probably still bust on you when I see a number one. When you see a number one, back off a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, this whole crown thing,
I hope they get rid of it. It's terrible.
Yeah,
It's terrible. Well, listen, Thomas, been great to see you. I know I'll see you again.
yes.
So thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Say your goodbyes to everybody, your last words, and then I'll be done with this and go off and start thinking about eating my first meal of the day.
I'll see you guys.
That's it.
I might as well just do a general. See you, you know. Goodbye,
See you
MP.
guys. Okay, good enough. All right, all right, man.
I'll see you. You know, I'll probably do my live tomorrow morning. So you know.
Oh, okay. What time?
I think I'm gonna start doing it at like 11 a.m.
11. Oh, okay. Well, if I remember, I will see what it's all about. Anyway, thank you so much for coming and being with me this morning. Next Sunday, we have, if I'm not mistaken, Rick.
Yes.
Quack quack. So that'll be pretty good too. That'll be pretty good too. Anybody else? I have Lori scheduled for the. Is it Lori? Let me see. I think it's Lori. Hang on one second. I don't want to talk out of school. It is Lori on June 22nd. Rick next
That's
week.
cool.
June the 15th is open, Sunday. If anybody would. And it's not too hard. Thomas will tell you that I'm not hard on people, my friends.
No, he's ruthless. He's lying to you.
Email me. Come on, get your courage up. Email me and say I'll do it, and we will schedule you for a Sunday in the near future. Unlike with Kiltz's deal, you don't have to wait 3 months.
Just to
I'm
answer
not
a
that
question real
popular.
quick.
I'm not that popular. So, Thomas, thanks so much for coming.
Yep. Just to answer a question really quickly. BMAT, my YouTube channel is Target Prime Rib.
Target Prime Rib, right. Okay, this is Thomas at Target Prime Rib. I will see you down the road for sure. Take care, buddy.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mitch.
All right, and that just leaves me and some happy music. Take a minute. Everybody say goodbye to your friends in the chat. Thanks so much for coming. Thank you, Thomas. It was fun. And we could have going on all day, actually. Oh, let me get down to the bottom of the chat here and see who's saying goodbye. Jerry Voitish, thanks for another great live stream. Mitch, he says, CB Carmack's waving. Bacon Baby. I like that name. I haven't seen that before. Bacon Baby said goodbye. Laurie's Carnivore Story. Tina, she says, email Mitch. Yes, do it. Terry Sue says goodbye. Harry Dion says goodbye to all. Laurie says next Sunday will be epic. Did you guys see the Rogan interview Sean Baker? Not recently, I haven't. I've seen an old interview where Rogan kind of discovers carnivore, but he's on and off of that all the time. Panel actually commented, Peter says, good job, Peter. Oh my God. This is a channel name. Choosy. Oh, I gotta put this on the stream. Nobody's gonna believe it. Choosy heretics choose carnivore revolution now. Holy cow. Holy cow. That is the longest channel name I've ever seen. My friends, thanks for coming. Have a great rest of the weekend. And I will be back on Tuesday morning with Morning Coffee with Mitch. And probably put out a video tomorrow, maybe later today. So keep an eye out for that. But until the next time, the advice always stays the same. Take the rest of the day off and eat meat.